Hi, Nat. Can you hear me? Good, good. I almost forgot to put my chat box up there. Hi, everyone. See you there, Sally. Hi,
Hey
Sally.
there.
How you doing?
Hi. I'm okay. How are you?
Good. I'm on my own tonight. Nick's at my daughter's house with Paul.
Oh,
So
oh
I'm
no. It's all gonna be good. Well,
it's
good.
so far so good. We're on there. I've got it set for record. Uh got the chat going, which
Tim is
I
here. Shannon's here.
yeah, I just want to make sure that that chat stays. Oh, there it is. Okay. Doesn't seem to be very high though.
Hey, DeBeebe.
Anyway, well, there's
Hey,
Shannon.
Natalie. Yeah, Shannon and Tim are both in here.
Oh, Tim too. I don't see Tim yet.
I thought I saw Tim.
Okay, there's Shannon. There's Tim.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey, Shannon.
Hi,
Yeah.
Sally.
How are you?
Hi, Lynn.
Hi, Shannon.
I'm good. Hi, Tim.
Good. There's Tim. And I'm not sure if Artis is coming in. Her light is on, but I know that she's not really up to talking. So if she comes in, we'll get her up. If not, just keep praying for her, guys, because she's having a rough time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey, Lynn. Hey,
yeah.
Shannon.
How you
Hey,
doing,
Sally. How
Tim?
y'all doing?
Hey,
Good,
Tim. Good. How are
good.
you?
I'm good.
Hi,
Messing my hands
Natalie.
up.
Hi, Beverly. Hi, Kimberly, or
Yeah.
Kimmy. It should be. I should have said. I'm just gonna take a minute. You guys chat, and I'm gonna set up a couple other things here. Okay?
Okie dokie.
How'd you hurt your hand,
Man,
Tim?
I was just gonna say, you know how we were talking about our e-bikes? Uh, man, I was riding and I was on the phone, and it was a bad mistake by my fault, on my part. But a car was like turning into the lane as I was crossing the street, and I kind of didn't see him until like it was almost too late, and I'm like slammed on the brakes in order to avoid hitting them, but I had to like fall. I had to basically fall off the bike to not hit them.
Oh
But
no. You
yeah, I
okay?
messed my hand up in the process. So, but I'm good.
Oh wow,
My hand
Tim.
took all the damage and some of my leg,
Oh my
but I'm
gosh.
good though. Long because I got hit by a car
Sorry to
before,
hear
and
that.
yeah, I got
Wow.
off
Still
easy.
awful. Yeah.
But yeah, it just like when I take a shower, like some of the skin that's like peeled off and stuff, it just hurts
Oh,
real bad.
ouch.
So
That's a burning sensation. That's not.
Ouch.
yes, yes,
Hmm.
hot or cold, it just hurts.
Darn it. Well,
Everybody's
we're
got.
glad you're okay. We're glad it wasn't any worse than that.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah. Hey,
I
Mark.
learned my lesson though. Stay off the phone while you're
Yes,
riding at least,
that would be
or at least have one
smart.
earplug out. Yeah.
I'm very bad. I drive and text, and I know I shouldn't, and I don't mean to, but I do.
Yeah.
It's not a good idea. I
Be
don't
careful,
text.
Sally.
I don't text. I voice text, so I'm not texting,
Oh,
but
that
like,
helps. Yeah.
yeah, I voice text, so I'm not like, that makes it easier. But like being in sales and having to like constantly figure out where you're going and customers calling, and it is
Yeah.
distracting and it is dangerous, and I'm aware of it.
It is, but Tim, were you texting on your when you're driving or when you're driving the bike?
No, had the earbuds in the phone conversation, like
Okay.
talking.
Okay.
Yeah, so it like drowned out the noise around me, and I just wasn't being as aware as I should.
Ooh,
It's pretty bad.
that's scary. I'm
Yeah.
I'm echoing for some reason. Sally, are you on your Bose?
No, I'm just on my phone.
Okay, it's weird. I don't know what it is.
I'll,
Must
I'll try muting. Maybe it's
No,
me.
it's okay. It must have been Tim for a second there, but it's okay. We're gonna go give a few more minutes here, and we'll start the video because it's a fairly long segment, and then We have lots of questions already tonight, and
Oh, we do?
some pretty interesting conversations by the looks of it. So
Okay.
yeah. So once we're finished, we'll do that. Artist is messaging me right now. So let's just see what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah. Probably wishing us well, because she's not well.
I know.
But you guys can hear me well.
Yeah.
That's good. She
Yep.
says, I'm not trying to be on tonight. I am laying down resting. Love you though. That's okay.
Yeah. I hope she feels better.
She's had a rough day.
Yeah. We're praying for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love you, Galana.
Hmm.
I'm just telling
Yes,
her
we
that
do.
we
We love you,
all
sis. I know she's gonna listen to this, so if I know
probably,
her.
maybe not though. Like, she can't even focus sometimes now. And
Oh, really?
yeah,
Dang.
she falls asleep like through, so, but she did have something to eat tonight. So she said she
Oh,
loves
she
all of
did?
us. She did have something to eat tonight.
And it didn't upset her stomach?
Well, not yet, right? I mean, at least she could get it down, so that's a bonus,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, it doesn't matter how many people are in here. We can go ahead and start it because it's a long video. People will pop in and maybe they're already saying, I'm not going to watch the first part of it because it's just the video. I already seen it 1,500 times. But it's a good one to see
Yeah.
again. And there's lots of good questions after. So I'm going to try and do this so that Nick can go and relax. I told him just to stay on till I got the video up. So let's see how it goes. Here we go, guys.
Okie dokie.
Look at that. Yay! It's
It's working on
on.
the first try. Hey,
There you go,
Vince.
eh? There you go. It's on. Can you hear it?
I can't hear it yet. No.
I don't hear it either. Oh, that doesn't help it. Let's try that one more time.
Here's one of their
There it is.
Yes.
Second.
It's still good time
Oh, and
wise.
Tracy's here too.
But this is
Hi,
tied.
Tracy.
Hello,
The name
Tracy.
Yah is tied to a moon deity, which I found real interesting, and a shining one known as Hallel.
Is that better?
This is the Grand Pinnacle of Solomon. It's in a different language, but you can see at the top there's your Yahweh and Emmanuel and the Tetragrammaton. I mean, all the names are there. It's all over all this satanic stuff, and this is like 6 points, 6 sides, and 6 sections, 666. And here it is again, all these names that they're using in the Old Testament, El, and then all the angels' names. I mean, this is scary to see. Eli, Shaddai, Adonai. I mean, they're all on there. And the more you look, the more names you see. Here's the El Shaddai. It's on this satanic thing, and this is their emblem for El Shaddai. And I'm going to show you here in a second what El Shaddai means. And here's the pentagram of the Tetragrammaton. And it's just like an occult thing, and each point has to do with the planets. Here's up close. Now this is interesting because Yahuwah, Jehovah is also known as Jupiter and is their head deity to them. And it also has the devil snake coil god symbol. And this goes right along with the Kabbalah stuff too. Okay, this is more on the Egyptian thing. Yah was sometimes considered an adult from the Cronus and increased and absorbed in him. He continued to appear in amulets and occasionally other representatives like Cross, in appearance and the same lunar symbols on his head, like the moon stuff. This is a statue of Yah from 664 to 332 BC. In his role, he's assumed the lunar aspect of Thro, and was assimilated with Osiris, the god of the dead, in the monthly cycle of the moon, which came around. And there was even another queen that was named Yah also. And when I looked, there's really no moon days in Scripture, because Urak is another deity. Shamash and Urak were the deities of the sun and the moon. There's a lot of paganism in the Old Testament. Baal, basically Baal, it was a deity in Hebrew, and Semitic title, more like a master or a possessor of something. It can refer to any god and even to human officials. It is used in Hadad as a god of thunderstorms, fertility, agriculture, the Lord of the heavens. Priests were allowed to utter his divine name, Hadad. Baal, which was commonly used. And you'll see there's cities in the scriptures that even use Baal. And it says, like in Jeremiah 23:27, which think to cause my people to forget my name, as their father had forgotten my name for Baal. But this is another. The Baal, the same name for Yahuwah, is recorded in the Jewish encyclopedia as being the same, which is bizarre. Okay, I went all the way down to the root word for Yahuwah. Okay, you've got the main word meaning ruin or disaster, and then they say it's from this number H1941, which means desire in a bad sense, chasm, figuratively of destruction, engulfing ruin, calamity. Then they say that one is from H1933, and they're all the same, they just got different vowel points. This one means to fall, to be, become, exist. I don't believe that, because there's too much other that's not related to that. And then this one comes from this one, and it's another form, which meaning ruin or mischief. So you've got all these different forms, but they all have to do with negativity. This is what they depict Yah as in the Maccabean period. That is this word down here is Yah in Greek. At the bottom, he's got the rooster head and the serpent's tail and a whip and a shield. But that is what they perceived Yah as being in this Maccabean time period. And then when you go down and you look this word up, it tells you, well, I'm sorry, I think I said Greek, it's Koine Greek. They say it's Yahweh or the Tetragrammaton. And it's also based on Dionysus and Sabaoth, the pagan god of wine, Sabaoth. And in Latin, it's Yahoo. And Yahoo, according to the Latin writings, is actually Jupiter also. Here's the Webster's 1988 second edition, Yahah, hypothetical reconstruction of the Tetragrammaton, first component of Yah, Yahu, god of the older Canaanite name, a god or form of Hebrew in the Old Testament. And see, Yahwehism, I was telling you there's a difference between worshiping El and worshiping Yahweh. The worship of Yahweh is considered Yahwehism, or a Yahwehist, instead of an Elohimist. So there was a differentiation between worshiping Elohim and worshiping Yahweh. Justin Martyr in 150 AD said this, but if anyone objects that he was crucified in this, also he is on par with those reputed sons of Jupiter of yours. So Justin Martyr confessed that Jupiter was the supreme deity of the emperor in the Roman Empire. And then in Wilhelm's Geninus, I never can say that right, suggested that the name Yahweh may have come from Jupiter, and that the word Jupiter translated into Latin as Yahweh or Yahweh. And see, the Son of Man told him, you worship what you do not know. We worship what we know, for salvation is away from the Jews, not from the Jews. And this guy that wrote this synopsis here, he was a German language specialist, and he was a master of Hebrew. And he's a widespread author of the Hebraist Grammatica, a Hebrew and English lexicon of the Old Testament. And he lived back in 1786 to 1842. But you can look stuff up on Bible Hub. You can look at this actual lexicon when you're looking up words and see what he thought of these words. Okay, here is this recorded. The Glasnost understood that Christ was Sabaoth, Yahuwah of hosts, or the armies, the son of Yah, or this is that Koine Greek for Yahuwah, or the Tetragrammaton. Irenaeus wrote, they have also given names to several persons of the systems of falsehood. Following he who was first descended of the mother is called Yabato. He again descended from him is named Yah. This one is called Sabaoth. And then again in Heresies in chapter 30, they believed that Yah was a supreme over Jupiter as an oracle of Apollos. So we have just all this pagan stuff coming up with revolving around the Yah name. Okay, here's a Dead Sea fragment with it on there. I just wanted to show you. This is about 2,000 years old. And here you see it in this little circle here. Okay, this is a papyrus found in, that's about 2,100 years in the Hebrew Greek text. And there's the Yahuwah in there. Alright, here's the Great Isaiah Scroll. That's what the name looks like. And there's no denying that goes all the way down as opposed to this one. So it is not I am. I mean, this is ancient. Here's another one. This is 2,200 years old. Again, note the difference between the Yod here and the Va. Goes all the way down to the bottom line. That means this is not a Yod right here. That's not a Yod, that's a Va. I put that one twice. I think I blew this up so you could see it better here. Because this is the one you can read online. I've actually gone and looked at verses. If you scroll up, if you just put in Great Isaiah Scroll, and it'll come up, the website, and you can actually go down at the bottom here and pick out the verse you want to look at. And you can blow it up and see if it actually says what they say it says in the scriptures. It's really cool. Okay, this is when a change occurred. Notice how this is written in Block Hebrew here, and this is in Paleo. His name is in Paleo. I believe these scriptures were corrupted after 70 AD to promote this name. This fragment dated to about 100 BC and was originally part of the Psalm scroll. And there is like historical evidence of the practice of using the Paleo Hebrew script to write the divine name of Yahuwah. And also notice there's no vowel points on any of this, because none of these older scriptures had that. That was added. They changed the meaning of words. They've done all kinds of stuff. Okay. Yeah, this was commonly used after the Babylonian exile. Here's just another example of it. And this purely looks forged to me. That looks like it's forged in. Yeah, they transferred into Koine Greek in Alexandria, Egypt, around the 2nd to the 1st centuries BCE. Egypt was dominated by the Ptolemaic dynasty, and there were several Greek translators of the Judean text. And I'm not sure. I think this looks forged to me. I mean, I'm an artist, and that just doesn't look right. Even the ink is not the same. Okay, that's another blowed up picture. I just want you to be real clear on what I'm showing you. You can pause this. I'm going pretty fast, but you can pause it and look at them. This is very interesting. Okay, the word Jupiter, translated from Latin to Greek, is the same word for Yahweh. Jupiter was a chief deity of the Roman state religion until Constantine replaced it with Christianity. The Latin word for Jupiter is Jehovah, and it's actually pronounced Yahweh. And we have all these magical things where people are using the Tetragrammaton. This is God's White Magic by Marcus Bottomley, spells, rituals, and occult books, grimoires, witchcraft, witch, and occult Satanism. This is the Seal of Solomon. The Song of Degrees said that trust in Jehovah shall be as Mount up on Zion, and you see his name on here too, and there. And that's considered the third pentacle of Jupiter, but it's got Yahuwah's name on it. Here's another one, the Talisman of the Book of Black Magic and Pacts, and it's got his name on it in the middle. And this is just the same thing I just read to y'all. Okay, here we see this. I'm trying to remember what year this was. It's an ancient spell scroll from 1895 that the Yahweh Sabaoth occurred very frequently in magical text. And here they've drawn a circle around this is Yahweh Sabaoth right there. This is a tablet to curse somebody with an incantation is what it is. And it goes, Yahweh Sabaoth, arouse yourself with the underworld gods. So this is referring to him with the underworld gods. There's a lot of ancient stuff like that. When you look at just Meriwether's web, I looked at everything. I've tried not to leave anything out. Yah is used as an expression of disgust, contempt, defiance, and derision. And then the secondary definition is Yahweh. I'm sorry for all these noises. It's just a noisy day. This is the four worlds of the Kabbalah. His name stands for the fire wands, the water cups, the swords, and the pentacles, which is all used in witchcraft. Here's another example of their Kabbalistic type stuff, because they also have Zeus in Emmanuel and El. And then they have other names in here too. It's just very scary seeing all this. This is an actual Jewish altar. Now, if you walked in and saw that, would you not think that you were at some kind of Satan worship or pagan worship thing? I know I would. This is the same. The deluxe tetragrammaton pentacle pentagram. Abaxion is a witchcraft outlet for pagans and witches, and they sell this too. For those who follow high magic, and comes the necklace of the pentacle, the ancient word of power, the tetragrammaton, meaning Yahweh, the true name of God. Okay, now if Yahweh was the name of a father, then why does he have an inheritance and why does he hate it? And I analyzed this to make sure it really said what it does, and it does. Therefore there was wrath of Yahuwah kindled against his people, insomuch that he abhorred or hated his own inheritance. So who did he inherit from, is my question. If he is the father of everything, would he need an inheritance? No. This is interesting also because this first word up here, Anaki, can also mean Lord of the earth instead of I am. They have it translated I am, but it can mean either one. I looked it up and it can be either one. Yahuwah, your divine, which you brought forth out of the land of the narrow double straits and out of, or from the slaves, okay? You brought forth out of, like they brought forth this name, their divine, from there, which I thought was really interesting. That's Exodus 2:22. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you the verse before I started reading it. Okay, now we're going to look at what the Son of Man said in Luke 11. And he was casting out a devil, and it was dumb. And it came to pass, when the devil was gone out, the dumb spake. And the people wondered. But some of them said, he cast out devils through Beelzebub, the chief of the devils. And others, tempting him, sought of him a sign from heaven. But he, knowing their thoughts, said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and a house divided against a house falls. If Satan also be divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? Because ye say that I cast out devils through Beelzebub. And if I by Beelzebub cast out devils, by whom do your sons cast them out? And therefore shall they be your judges. But if I with the finger of God cast out devils, no doubt the kingdom of God is come to you. When a strong man armed keepeth his palace, his goods are in peace. Okay. Well, what is Beelzebub? Okay. Beelzebub is Baal of the fly, or Lord of the flies, possessor of the flies. Because Baal actually means possessor. Okay. So what do we see in Exodus 8:24? And Yahuwah did so. There came some great swarms of flies into the house of Pharaoh, and into the servant's house, throughout all the land of Egypt, and the land was ruined by swarms of flies. So Yahuwah was the possessor of the flies. He was Beelzebub. Okay. Psalm 78:45. He sent divers sorts of flies among them, which devoured them, and frogs which destroyed them. And he gave also their increase of their caterpillar and their labor unto the locust. Now, if you remember from the Revelations, he sends out the locusts too. The bad guy does. And the frogs, the unclean frogs. Everything is telling us something. I looked at Deuteronomy 32:9 and analyzed it, for it says the Lord's portion, his people Jacob, the lot of his inheritance. And I actually got that as because the portion, Yahuwah's portion is with him, Jacob destroys his inheritance. So that really didn't come out exactly like they have it translated for me. But if it is correctly translated on their part, that would mean that he has another portion, which is like an inheritance. Several times mentioned about his inheritance in the Old Testament. Now this part's going to scare you here. What a tangled web we weave when people deceive. That's me talking there. Eusebius of Caesarea, 206 to 341 AD, was the bishop of Caesarea, and he is considered the father of the church history and was a church scholar and presbyter in the church at Caesarea. His major work was the history of the church, a massive piece of research that's preserved quotations from many other writers that would otherwise have been lost, specifically for researchers of the Phoenician history. Okay, in his Sanctiton, I guess I'm saying that right, I don't know, is preserved in very interesting little statement. But on the occurrence of pestilence and mortality, Kronos offers his only begotten son burnt offering to Father Sky, and circumcises himself, compelling his allies also to do the same. To me, this tells me where they got the story of Abraham and Isaac, and were distorting what I consider to be the real father. And let's see, but we are told that El slew his own son, Sadius, a name which they think to be a corruption of El Shaddai, one of the epitaphs of the biblical El, and El also beheaded one of his daughters, later perhaps referring to the same death of Sadius we were told about this thing I just read you. And that sounds very, very, very much like the story of Abram and Isaac in Genesis. I'm going to show you here, El Shaddai cannot be the Almighty, because the same word means a demon, a genie, or a fiend. So it cannot be the Almighty. I mean, how do you have the Almighty named as a demon? Okay, and I read Job. It says, shall he contendeth with the Almighty and instruct he that reproveth God, let him answer it. Okay, I went through and analyzed the Hebrew, and this says, the rabbi, with my demon, he will torment you and will reprove Eli, he will answer. So he's going to answer to, probably this is reverse as far as, but it's just, there's just so much bad translation. But when I saw that pop up, and that just immediately my radars went off. And the root word, okay, if you look at Shaddai, El Shaddai, which they say is Almighty, most powerful, okay, it's from 7703. And what does that mean? To deal violently with, despoil, devastate, ruin, destroy, spoil, to violently destroy. The devastator, the despoiler, to be utterly ruined. That cannot be the Almighty. Here's some more examples. This is the ancient picture of El Shaddai with the horns. I mean, that's scary. Here's a modern one so you can see it more clearly. This is actually the Solomon seal of El Shaddai. It's used in magic for its holder to gain all his wishes. And I went through and put these back in here again, so if you want to look at them again and pause it, there's just no denying that they took words that were evil and put them in as deity. Okay, this I just put this back on here. This is Abraham Publishing's definition here. Now think about this verse. When you look at this and then you look at the meaning of El Shaddai. Wail, for the day of Yahuwah is near. It will come as destruction. Shaddai, and that's the same word from Shaddai, the demon, is what that actually means. I mean, they have really done a number on this stuff. And you can go look all this up yourself. It's not some kind of magic trick that I'm doing here. It's just flat out what these words mean. This right here in this square box, that is from the Do It Hebrew. And they always tell you what dictionary they're using. Then they have the translation at the top. If it's a verb, they give you all the tenses. It's well worth the money if you want to study these out, because it really helps you see how distorted this has really come. And I'm beginning to think Hebrew is Satan's language, because they do have a lot of words that they have meanings that are positive and negative for the same word, which if you were speaking any other language, that would not happen. And I don't want to go on too long. I'm already like an hour and 30, and I'm only halfway. But the John tells us, like, In Greek, the word is apollyon, and in Hebrew, or the actual Greek word is Hebraistry. It is Abaddon. Well, John is telling us a big deal right there, because he's telling us that this Hebrew language, like for Yahuwah and all, is not the original language at all. The original language was Ibri language, which is a Latin base. So we are studying manuscripts that are actually not from the original language. Here's another example of where distortions have been thrown in, okay? Like Exodus 34:29, and it came to pass, Moses came down from the Mount Sinai with the 2 tablets of the testimony in Moses' hand. And when he came down from the mount, that Moses wished not that the skin of his face shone while he talked with them, okay? What is their concept back then of what happened to Moses? Did his face shine, or did he grow horns? Because that word right there, kara, means to grow horns. Doesn't mean to shine. And evidently, the churches also knew that, or every statue of Moses would not have horns on it. And the people were afraid of him because of this. And I would be terrified too if somebody went and said, I just talked to God, and then they were growing these big antler horns on their head. I'd be scared too. Okay, I'm going to compare Exodus 10:4 and 2 Chronicles 7:12 and 13 to Revelation 9. Okay, Revelation 9:2-4. He opened the shaft of the bottomless pit, and from the shaft rose smoke like a smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened, and the smoke from the shaft. And from the smoke came locusts on the earth, and they were given power, the power of scorpions on the earth, and they were told not to harm the grass of the earth, or any green plant, or any tree, but only those people who do not have the seal of God on their forehead. Okay? Now look at Exodus 10:4. For if you refuse to let my people go, behold, tomorrow I will bring locusts into your country. Alright? And then 2 Chronicles 7:12. And Yahuwah appeared to Solomon by night and said to him, I have heard thy prayer and have chosen this place to myself for a house of sacrifice. If I shut up heavens and there is no rain, or if I command the locusts to devour the land, or I send pestilence among my people. So the one sending the locust is Yahuwah. So what did the Son of Man reveal? He said he was going to open his mouth and reveal things hidden in the foundation of the world. I think this is one of them. Look at Luke 13:16. And ought not this woman, a daughter of Abraham, and your text will have Abraham, but what's really written in Greek is Abram, and it's Abram with 2 A's. The reason it's got 2 A's is that means a long A sound. It doesn't mean that it's a different word. Okay? Whom Satan bound for 18 years, be loosened from this bond on the Sabbath day. Think about that. He was speaking to people that were worshiping Yahuwah. And he's talking about it in a reference like she's bound to Satan. And he wants to loosen her on the Sabbath day. Very interesting statement. Luke 16:24. And he called out, Father Abraham, or Father Abram, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus to dip his finger in the water and cool my tongue, for I am in anguish in this flame. So the guy that is in hell is not calling out to Yahuwah in heaven. Who's he calling out to? He's calling out to Father Abram. Alright, Luke 19:9. And Jesus said, Today salvation has come to this house, since he also is a son of, not Yahuwah, he's a son of Abram. John 4:23. But the hour is coming, and is now, when the true worshippers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. For such the Father seeks to worship him. Okay? This is a big deal. When you look at the word Abram, it means exalted father. Okay? When you look at Abraham, it means father of the multitude. And then when you look at Abba, it means father. I think that all 3 branches of Abram's people have been marked with the 666. And the only way to be loosened is through the Messiah. This is the tefillah cube, or the phylacteries that the Jewish people wear when they pray. Inside them is the Shema that says, Hear, Israel, Yahuwah our Elohim is one. Okay. Well, written on each side of them is the Tav, the 666, on every side. And they are said to bind on the head, like Deuteronomy 6:8, for the fontanels between their eyes, and to bind the tefillah on their arm is written, Thou shalt bind them as a sign on thy hand. And that's what these represent. And it's got the 666 on every side of it. This is going to scare a lot of people. It scares me. I've never worn one of those, but we're in just as much trouble. We need to be loosened from a bond. Okay, here is the oath, which is the sign that is in the Old Testament. Like in Isaiah 7:14, therefore Yahuwah himself gives you a sign, a tet. Look, the Alma conceives and gives birth to a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel, meaning God is with us. Okay, when you look at that, what this is, and you bring it up, it's a signal, a sign, an omen, a letter of the alphabet. I think it's the tet. This is what it looks like. And this is actually on the back of every crucifix painting and crucifix from the early Christian periods. It means the tet is a basket surrounded by a snake or crossed by a snake. And the oath actually means the leader of the nail and the snake. Leader secured with a cross surrounded by a snake, or leader secured with the tet letter or signal. When you look at the paleo, because you read it from right to left. I always get that backwards. Here it is you can see it on here. Let me put a highlighter. You can see it up here. See, it's behind his head. I kept looking for what the mark was, and I wasn't really sure because some of the writings look like the Arabic. Well, now it all makes sense. Okay, here it is here, and look what it morphed into, a 6. So it's the Greek equivalent 6, and that's the late Hebrew. Okay, the name Abram, summary, meaning exalted father, their shield and protection. It comes from Ab and Ram, to be elevated. Okay, he told them, the people he was talking to, you are of your father the devil. And they answered him, Abram is our father. And Jesus said to them, if you were Abraham's children, you would be doing the works Abraham did. And Jesus said to him, today salvation has come to this house, since he too is a son of Abraham. And then he said in John 8:56, Abraham your father, he was telling them right there, I revealed it, Abraham your father rejoiced to see my day. He saw it and was glad. That was his daddy. Okay, the Son of Man gives us back to the Father, where we belong. I think Yahuwah is the one breaking things in pieces. Okay, I'm going to explain here now. Luke 9:37-45. On the next day, when they had come down from the mountain, a great crowd met him. And behold, a man from the crowd cried out, Teacher, I beg you, look at my son. He is my only child. A spirit seizes him and suddenly cries, and he convulses. Meaning, the word convulse means to break to pieces him, so that he foams at the mouth and shatters him, and he will hardly leave him. And I beg your disciples to cast it out, but they could not. And Jesus answered, O faithless and twisted generation, how long am I to be with you and bear with you? Bring your son here. And while he was coming, the demon threw him to the ground, and he convulsed. But Jesus rebuked the unclean spirit and healed the boy, gave him back to his father, and all were astonished at the majesty of God. See, it's like it goes back to this word Father. Let these words sink into your ears. The Son of Man is about to be delivered into the hands of men. But they did not understand what he was saying, and it was concealed from them so that they might not perceive it, and they were afraid to ask about what he was saying. Okay, now let's go over here to Jeremiah and compare this story to this. Not like these, he who is the portion of Jacob, for he is the one who formed all things, and Israel is the tribe of his inheritance. Again, there comes that word inheritance. The Yahuwah of hosts is his name. You are my hammer and weapon of war. With you I break the nations in pieces, and I will destroy kingdoms. And with you I break in pieces the horse and the rider. With you I break in pieces the chariot and the charioteer. With you I break in pieces man and woman. With you I break in pieces the old man and the youth. With you I break in pieces the young man and the young woman. With you I break in pieces the shepherd and his flock. With you I break in pieces the farmer and his team. With you I break in pieces governors and commanders. Is there anything he doesn't break in pieces? I mean, it's said how many times there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. He's going to break things in pieces. And this convulse means to break in pieces. Once I saw this, I'm sorry it took me so long to get back to saying anything, but I had to be sure. I mean, I can't come out here and mess up. And I pray I'm not messing up now. I don't think I am. I think I'm showing something that needs to be seen. And like I said, don't take my word for it. Study it out. Decide for yourselves. Here's another example. I kind of like using this thing. Luke 3:7. John would say to the crowds that you were coming out to be baptized by him, you children of serpents. Who warned you to flee the coming wrath? Okay, so he's referring to them as children of serpents. All right, Luke 11:11. What father among you, if his son asked for bread, would give him a stone, or if he asked for a fish, would give him a snake instead of the fish? So it's like he's referring to our Father in heaven, I think. Okay, then in this one, Numbers 21:6, he says, in response, the Yahuwah sent poisonous serpents among the people to bite them. As a result, many people died. Of Israel died. Okay, I went through and analyzed this, and this is actually future tense. That's why I put this in here so you can read about how I can tell it's a future tense. And he will send Yahuwah into the nation to overshadow the image of the snakes and the fiery seraphim, and they will bite the people, and they will die with many from Israel. So it's actually Yahuwah sending serpents. Now, what father would give somebody a serpent or a snake? To me, this is like having to relearn what is good and what is bad, in a way. Because it's like I kept seeing all the deception, and I've done y'all tons of videos on, how Peter and Paul did, and they're in prophecy. But the thing I never really stopped to consider is who sent them? Who did this? It was Yahuwah really doing it, Lamentations 5, there are two voices in the scripture to me. There's one that's speaking, and when you read it in Hebrew, it's real clear, because at the beginning of a lot of the verses, it'll say, and he said, like there's another person outside of the scriptures telling us a story, if that makes any sense. You don't see it until you start reading it in Hebrew, because it's not there in the English translation. But here's a verse in Lamentation 5:3. And I did the mechanical on this. We are orphans and have no father, and our truth is like widowhood. Okay? And he said to take care of the widows, all right, in John 4:23, but the hour cometh and is now when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth, for the Father seeketh such to worship him. Okay, the orphans are the ones without any father. Okay, so we're supposed to take care of the orphans and the widows. Luke 20:45, and in the hearing of all the people he said to his disciples, beware of the scribes who walk around in long robes and love greetings in the marketplace, and the best seats in the synagogues, and the best of the honor of the feast, who devour the widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayers, they will receive greater condemnation. So that's what he was talking about. The widows, the ones without father, are sitting in the houses. Okay, this is all the Abram words, okay? Call no man father, because you have one Father in heaven. He made that real clear. Even when he said to pray our Father. Okay, Ab is actually Hebrew for father. Abram is exalted father. That's what it means. Ibri, we're told that Abram was an Ibri, and they've got it translated Hebrew. Well, Ibri can mean two things. It can mean a person from the Iberian Peninsula, and it also means one from beyond. Okay, then Abraham is father of the multitude, or chief of the multitude. They have, but I think it's father because it's got the Ab at the beginning. So every one of these indicates that this is the father. All right. Also, Abraham can mean merciful father, Aram, when it's translated, because Raham means merciful. All right, I wanted to look at these too. In the usage of father when he was speaking, Matthew 7:11. If you then, who are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father, who is in heaven, give good things to those who ask? Okay, so he's referring to Father as being in heaven. And Matthew 7:21. Not everyone who says to me, Master, Master, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. So again, he's placing this name Father in heaven. Matthew 11:25. At that time Jesus declared, I thank thee, Father, Master of heaven and earth, that thou hast hidden these things from the wise in understanding and revealed them to babies. Babies are, and he said, except for the children, because such is the kingdom of heaven. The babies, the children. Matthew 6:9. Pray then like this, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Matthew 6:8. Do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him. Matthew 6:14. For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will forgive you. He didn't say Yahuwah is going to forgive you. He said your heavenly Father. Matthew 6:26. Look at the birds of the air. They neither sow nor reap nor gather into the barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not of more value than they? I think it's real clear what he was trying to say with that. Okay, this is that story of Lazarus and the rich man and Lazarus in Luke 16. I just want us to think about what's really being said here. There was a rich man who was clothed in purple and fine linen, who feasted scrumptiously every day, and at the gate was laid a poor man named Lazarus, and Lazarus means whom God helps, covered with sores, who desired to be fed with what fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, even the dogs came and licked his sores. The poor man died and was carried by the angels to Abraham's side. So where was he taken? To Abram's side. The rich man also died and was buried, and in Hades, being tormented. He lifted up his eyes and saw Abram far off and Lazarus at his side, and he called out, Father Abram, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus to dip the end of his finger in the water and cool my tongue, for I am in anguish in this flame. But Abram said, Child, remember that you in your lifetime received your good things, and Lazarus in like manner bad things. But now he is comforted here, and you are in anguish. And besides this, between us and you a great chasm has been fixed, in order that those who would pass from here to you may not be able, and none may cross from there to us. And he said, Then I beg you, Father, to send him to my father's house. I think he was referring to the temple, whatever. For I have 5 brothers, so that he may warn them, lest they would come into this place of torment. But Abram said, Tell, they had Moses and the prophets, they heard them. And he said, No, Father Abram, if someone goes to them from the dead, they will repent. And he said to them, If they do not hear Moses and the prophets, neither will they be convinced if someone should rise from the dead. So the whole scenario about going and being in comfort is to go where Abram is. I think that's very, very telling. Here is the Psalms. I went and analyzed this, and it really upset me because they've got open to me the gates of righteousness. I will enter in. I will praise the Lord, is what they have. And that's not what's written there. What is actually written is, Open to me the gate, righteous Father, and I will enter in the breath, or the reveal, is what is actually written there. So that is very deceptive, because it's Father that opens the gate and lets you in. Here's another verse where I was seeing that Father's voice comes through in the Old Testament. Have we not all one Father? Abba is what it has in actual Hebrew. Has not one El, which is generalized for God, created us? Why then are we faithless to another, profaning the covenant of our Father? And I looked at that. They have fathers for that last word, and it's not what's there. It's actually Father. And the other part of it is our. That's the suffix. It'd be our Father. Because when you look at Father there, this is Father's, and Father's is not there. It's our Father. I looked up a lot of places that have the Father word in them in the Old Testament, just to see what is said there. If Yahuwah is God, how did he meet Moses at an inn seeking to kill him like a man would do? That doesn't make any sense to me. Because I did a mechanical on this, and it says it came to pass on the way in the inn, and he met Yahuwah, and he sought to kill him. So he was meeting him just like a person would. And that doesn't make any sense. If he is spirit, how could he meet him at the inn? This is really telling too. Abaddon means destroy, kill, or blot out Father. It's actually the word Abba and Adon, and that means like perish, vanish, go away, be destroyed, to die, exterminate, to destroy, kill, cause to perish, blot out. So basically, it's blot out Father, get rid of Father, is what Abaddon actually means.
Here we go, guys. That's the second half. Are you all there? Everybody sleeping?
Nope, we're here. I'm here.
Good. Yeah, that was pretty interesting. Can you guys see what she's saying about Abram now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah. That showed it pretty good in that one.
hmm And what were you saying there, Tim, in the comments?
Thought that was a strange verse. I didn't write down what exact verse it was, but when he said that if they wouldn't listen to Moses and the prophets, then they wouldn't even listen if one raised from the dead. And it's kind of like implying that Moses and the prophets was like could have saved them, which is very strange to me, knowing that Moses and the prophets are
I think
of
I
the
think
evil
you're
one.
right, though. I think there's deception in the way they wrote that. You know,
Yeah,
there's
I think
always
because
they
of
always
course
push it
they
towards
would
their
see that.
narrative, right? So
Well, exactly, they'll see that and be like, huh, dang it, that's gonna tell people to not worship Yahweh. Let's
exactly,
change that around a little bit. So
exactly. I was thinking, Tim, you should start with Shannon's questions because his kind of relate to he did them on the actual video, and the other people are doing from the video prior. So maybe we could talk about those first, and then
Wait, he can't move. You said so. His is on the actual
yeah, he did
YouTube
it on
video.
this live. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, hold on. Because you didn't send me Shannon's. You just sent me yours
No,
and
I sent
the.
Shannon's too. I sent Shannon's too. They're on
Oh,
your
you did?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Then I can just go to my email then.
Oh, I didn't send them to your
Oh,
email
okay.
though, but I can go and get Shannon's
Oh,
here.
okay.
If you don't have Shannon's, I'll just
Oh no,
start reading them.
you sent them to me like through screenshot, basically.
Right.
Okay, I sent those to my email so I can view them
Oh,
while we're on the
perfect.
live. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, well, you carry
So
on then.
you just
That was
pull
that
that
was
up.
that was very good. That was a good way to do that, Tim. I wouldn't have even thought of that.
Right?
What
I
was
was like, man,
that?
what's the fastest way to do this? Because I do not feel like writing. My hand hurts. You see.
I think you should
And
get
I
a
got a cat
printer.
that keeps jumping in my lap. I
You should
should,
get,
yes.
yeah, you can buy a cheap one.
Go, go. I can't do nothing. The cat keeps jumping in my lap. It's crazy. All right. Let me see if this is the one because I got two separate. This is, no, that's the Warren. So let me go to the next one.
He starts with,
Oh my goodness,
did
kitty
the
cat.
Son of Man, JC, say he was sent from his father? That's where Shannon's questions start.
Oh. 1 second. I'm here. I see it. Dang it. Yeah, because the ones I got from you says I made it to 156,
That's
51
right.
timestamp.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's Shannon's, yeah.
All right. Okay, so and it says, did the Son of Man, JC, say he was sent from his father?
I think there's certain scriptures, Shannon, as I'm going through John, I'm seeing that JC puts that in there as well. So I think that I think it's a twisted thing where they use some of Jesus Barabbas sayings and use it for their narrative.
Yeah, I wish I could really think of it, like when he says my father's house, you turn this my father's house into a place of merchant. Wow, this cat.
Yeah, and that's
Um,
definitely JC.
Wow.
yep, because
There's,
his father's house is not here, or not the
right.
real father,
Exactly. I'm
right?
getting
Because the real Jesus
reverberation.
said his kingdom not of this world. So those are. Is it me?
Yep.
How's that?
Well, good so far.
Is it still doing it?
No, I don't
Yeah.
I don't hear myself reverberating right now, so that's good. Whatever you did.
So are you? Do I sound like it to you, Sally?
I hear like it sounds like there's like dogs or TV or something in the background.
Oh, hold on. I can fix that part. Yeah.
Maybe
I thought
because
I was
there
far
is.
enough away from the TV.
Uh, you got the TV on for the cats?
My bad.
I used to do that for my
And
dog,
it's
had the
not
TV
working.
on for the
No, I'm just
dog.
kidding.
Okay, now it's good.
Yeah, it's perfect now. That's
Okay.
probably what it is actually, is the TV making it sound like it's reverberating. Maybe.
Well, that won't happen again. I got you guys. Um, so that one's done, right? So it says, "Who is the Father that sent him?"
That would be Yahweh sent him. Yahweh sent
hmm
JC.
And I agree with that. And then he was like, "Our Abba Father," and I'm like, "No," but he says Yahweh, which yes, I believe that.
Hmm.
Um, or Abram, the exalted father. I think Abram, exalted father, and Abba Father is same. It's the
Hmm.
same.
Same here.
Uh, every time they refer to that person, it's the same person. At least I think so. From from my standpoint. If anybody else, disagree with that, maybe, because
As far as
I'm open to
Abram,
it.
as far as
I want
Abram,
to
I think they tried
like
to.
every time they refer to Abram, they refer to him. They're referring to the father.
Um, I don't know because there's some things in the Old Testament, with Abraham. Abram, yes, but Abraham, you know how they switch it up, and the Abraham part I think is
Yeah.
not Abram. So
I think I agree with you, Eileen, that Yahweh did that intentionally for confusion.
covered the name up so that
He
yeah,
likes to use names and change names, and
yeah. Let's
mhm.
My
get
my
let's give you a
my one
special
main
name.
concern.
What's that?
Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
I was gonna say my main concern is just the verse where he says, "I come in my Father's name," you know, and ow. And
But
I
Abe,
think
but
that
Abe,
Abba matches
Ab,
Baraba. Yeah.
but also
Well, I just think
Ab.
that it matches more. I'm not saying they both don't aren't similar, but I'm just saying that to me, Abba matches Bar Abba more, in my opinion.
Well, it does.
So,
It does for the
um,
son, but there's even that possibility, like Artis was saying the other night, which I've had in my mind for a while, that it's not really the son, it's really the father, but they just threw the son in there because Jesus is, Jesus Barabbas is the father, so there is that too. So, and we're not locked into it, but we do have a sneaking suspicion that that's what it is, so. Did you?
and oh, Glam said, hold on, there's a couple of questions in the comments too. Should we
Okay.
grab those
Sure. Yeah.
since the comments move fast? The BB says, who are you referring Abram to? He is not our heavenly father? Question marks.
Abraham isn't. But when they referred to Abram, Abraam, we think that is the father.
Yeah.
So, or some of us do. I don't know that everybody
And like,
does.
what if Abba just means father and then Abram means exalted father, and that's just, that's what the difference is. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just saying, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really study the languages like that, so.
Right. Yeah. And then there was another one there. It says Abraham's temptation seems odd to me. Exactly, and that's why I will not say that Abraham is Abram. Was Abraham, and she says, was Abraham really that concerned about his seed? Um, I would say that there's a definite difference between Abraham and Abram. So I would say Abraham was not concerned, maybe not concerned about his seed if he was willing to do that. Um, our father wouldn't ask you to do that. So
You know what I think we should do? I don't know if anybody else agree, but I think it'll help with this part, with figuring this out as well.
mhm.
Can we find fault in Abraham in the Old Testament? Like, can we put him on trial, read his story again, knowing what we know now?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we
He,
do for Paul and everybody else. You know?
I mean, I think there's red flags all over around Abraham.
I do too.
I mean, he took his son out to get sacrificed in the desert.
Yeah.
He's talking to
Was
Yahweh.
was Abraham not the one that was married to Sarah,
Yeah.
and then he made her be his sister? You know,
Yeah.
that's kind of evil. Sorry. Some people say it's protection, but I don't know. It's a little bit weird. So,
Yes. Anything that's wrong require justification. So again,
and yes,
if he's
Tracy,
like
I know she was his
lying,
sister, so he was saying she was his sister, but it's a lie. It's deception. So, yeah,
and that's the reason why I wanted to put him on trial, because there's people that might argue for him, saying that he might have not really lied.
yeah.
Maybe it's just
Omission is a lie. Some people say that omission's not a lie. It's just, you're not talking about it. No, omission is a lie.
Well, it's like deception is a lie, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. So,
So what do you think about when Jesus said when he said thou sayest?
pardon?
Is do you guys consider thou sayest an omission?
No,
Like,
he's saying, when he says that, he's saying, you say so,
yeah,
you know, meaning
just
I
making
didn't
sure.
say it, you said it, you know.
Yeah,
He's stating a fact. I didn't say it, you did, you know.
yeah, or that's what y'all saying.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Well,
Glam Gorian said, I don't think Jacob and Esau were humans. We did a live on the
there you
Satyrs,
go. Yeah, Sally
and
just put it up there
oh,
too.
sorry, I didn't even see it. Good for you, Sally. You're on it. Yeah.
Yeah,
When we
Tracy
listen
too.
back to this, you're going to hear my voice 3 times. I can hear it over and over
You know,
again.
this time it's really clear. The chat is really clear. I don't know if it's like that for everyone else.
It is very clear. Yeah.
Yeah, it was more clear than the last time when we were here.
Yeah,
So
but when I listen back to it tomorrow, I will hear myself talking, which is something to do with one of your mics or one of your. There's feedback for sure.
is it still doing it right now though? Because I really feel like it's just my phone.
I can only tell when I'm talking. It's still doing it. It's still doing it. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we can tolerate it for tonight and see what happens. It's
I'm
just
so
that
sorry. I
no,
hate
it's just
that.
that when I talk, I hear myself, 3 times. So
We don't hear it though.
no, but you will tomorrow when you listen back to this, because I heard it the other day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bubble Boy asked a question. He said, "Did Jesus Barabba and Jesus Christ walk around at the same time?" Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Bubble Boy.
Oh, yeah, I think they certainly did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That verse about them saying who's greater and stuff. I think that's like definite
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah,
input.
I agree with you, Tim. I think that's exactly what they're referring to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone in the
I'm
chat. He
gonna
said
mute
someone
every time I'm
in the
not
chat
talking.
said
I promise.
that's hard to do because we kind of chat back and forth, right? So it's kind of hard to do. But you got the next question, Tim? I'm not sure which one it is now. El Shaddai.
Yeah, he's like Well, he also asked if El Shaddai is the one that said that, but I think we covered that part at least.
Okay.
But he said, notice the word El Shaddai at the end, AI.
Yeah, that's
Like
interesting.
Shad and then AI.
Oh wow.
That's
I
interesting.
never. That is interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And he says, what if the planet Jupiter we look at with the telescope is really Yahweh? Love Jehovah. Or wow, I said love. See, me and Artist had a small conversation about that on YouTube about how it looks like the word love. So anyway, I'm sorry. Yahweh, Jove, Jehovah, all the same word really. What if Abram exalted father is the father of the Son of Man, JC? Whew. Sorry.
What if
I'm
Abram
gonna stop there
exalted
real quick
father's
because
the
I want to
son
enter.
of JC?
Yeah,
Yahweh is the father of JC.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that would put whoever El Shaddai is as JC's granddaddy or something like that, I guess. But he said, "What if the planet Jupiter we look at is really Yahweh?" I don't know if anybody's seen those videos that come out and there's a whole face in the sky next to the moon,
Hmm.
Yeah, I've seen
like a
that.
giant face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen
And it
it.
looks
Yep.
solid, like very solid. It's detailed, and it
Hmm.
really do look like the Statue of Liberty face, or whoever
Yeah.
they call Lucifer, you know. But that's crazy because I've seen multiple videos of that.
I have
But
too.
that's what it reminds me of right there. It also reminds me of something I wrote down during the live. I guess I can cover it now since it's
Hmm.
on the topic. Let me see. So yeah, okay. So she was talking about Allah equal, meaning the moon god, right? And Allah upside down is Yahweh. As we all know
Hmm.
their names upside down is each other. But so we all know Yahweh is the storm god,
Hmm.
and he has ties with the sun in Christianity. The moon and the sun control the weather. Uh, And then in Genesis 1, it says the sun, moon, and stars is for the time and seasons. And seasons is basically the weather.
Mhm.
So all these planets, stars, sun, moon, all have to do with the weather, basically, our time and our weather and seasons. And that's what this whole Yahweh thing seems to be, like a storm god, you
Mhm.
know.
He is the storm god for sure.
Yeah. I just wanted to point out the connections. Basically, I'm not really saying
Yeah.
anything. It's more like a question slash statement slash, you know what I'm saying? A
Just getting
thought.
everybody thinking.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it is, man. I'm just putting red strings and connecting it to other pictures and stuff. You know, that's all
Yeah.
I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But he also said, what if this whole scenario of the rich man, the Lazarus, and the Abram exalted father is from below in the cataclysmos? What if Abram exalted father is part of the algorithm in the holy script errors, and he separated script and errors? And I guess I kind of see why. I can see the script part, the last part. I'm not sure, but I see what he means though.
Yeah, I see it.
And
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
from
I see it.
Jesus
Yeah.
Barabbas, whose kingdom is no part of this earth. You know, we're talking about this, and Shannon's like right here.
I know. It's all right. He's got one to bring up after.
But yeah, you know, they speak about that chasm that separates them from, you know, the from Sheol. My book said they were in Sheol and they were separated by a chasm or a chasm. And it just reminds me of Genesis 1 when he says separating the light from the darkness kind of thing. And you know, there's no crossing over, basically. I'm just thinking, you know, maybe there is something to do with that. But but I don't know. You know, Shannon, it's just a
Shannon always brings up good questions.
yeah, it's a good question.
And that's it
I'm over here
from
thinking about it, like
Shannon's, is it
reading it
not?
again.
Yeah.
I think there's another. Hold on, let me see. I made it to. Nope, we already did that one. Come here. There's another one here. What if the only true creation story is John 1, 1 and 2? Uh, what if Genesis 1? Oh wait, hold on.
Yeah, I think we're gonna leave like the Genesis
Okay,
and the
this
John
was the one
for.
that we were gonna wait on. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's
Okay,
okay. That's all right.
my
There
bad.
might be something further down there though. Um,
Oh, hold on. Let me double check that. I
what
just
if
went out of it. This
he said, "What if all Abram exalted father and Yahweh evil dualistic serpent seed doctrine, JC doctrine, everything from this hell of a his story, um, or sorry, is history, his story." Um, I mean, it is possible, but what does that leave us with? You know, when I read that, it was like, what does that leave us with? You know, that we can't trust the Father, we can't trust the what He said, we can't, I just I can't put um, I can't put the Father, Abram, Abba, into the dualistic stuff, or even into Yahweh's history, if you know what I mean. I'm sure they've changed
you know,
things. I think they've changed things for sure, but it's like they say that Yahweh or that Satan can't create on his own. He has to take what's already created, what's already spoken about, and twist it and turn it. You know what I mean? Um, he doesn't have an original thought, if that makes sense. So he, I think, uses the father's, and that's why I think that Abram has been covered over by Abraham. So, and I mean, if you want to look at it that way, yes, maybe Yahweh covered over Abram and his story and the real story with his story about Abraham, you know.
I mean, that's entirely possible. You think about the fact that they usurped Jesus' name with Jesus Christ. Why wouldn't they do the same thing in the Old Testament, you know?
Right. Yeah.
you know, it reminds me of that video artist that about trying to fit Jesus in the box.
Mhm.
I
Hmm.
wonder. I mean, I think some of these problems come with trying to fit uh the Father into the Old Testament. And I just can't. I'm not trying to force anything to fit, really. You know
I
what I'm
don't think the
saying? I'm
father
really
is.
just
I
kind
don't
of.
think he's in there much. I think he's been wiped out. you know. I think his name Abram is covered. I think they needed to do that, cover up the name Abram, because if they took the like, I'm reverberating like crazy, but if they took out the entire name Abram and somebody came across it over a span of time, um, it would make people think, oh, I wonder, they've lied about everything. But if he covers it over with the name Abraham, then everybody just goes, and I've seen it happen. Everybody's just like, oh, no, that's Abraham, that's Abraham, you know. But it's not. Abram, Abram, is a different one than Abram, Abram, which was switched to Abraham. It's two different beings. So um, I do think that they've used it to cover up his name, but I don't think he's in the Old Testament much. I think most of it is Yahweh's story. That's my perception. Anybody else got anything to
Anybody
say?
want to say anything before I move on?
Mhm.
I'm trying to stay muted as much as possible now. Okay, I think the last one was Oh no, I mean it's just his comments, kind of. What if Abram? It's not our Abba Father, whose kingdom is no part of this earth. Yeah, that's another good one too, because again, why would Abram or Abraham be down here for any reason at all? You know what I'm saying? Besides the reason why Jesus came. But I don't know. I mean, at the same time, the whole thing it was like a parable, wasn't it?
uh,
Like this didn't actually happen. He's telling the story.
I don't know. I can't think right now.
It's thought provoking for sure. We
Mhm.
do need to. I guess we need to do some research on it, huh?
Yeah. Shannon does bring up really good questions. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Um, where are you there?
Okay. I'm going to the other one now. The other.
Shannon, did you want to ask your other question that you brought up later to me right now, and then we'll go on to the other ones?
Sure. um, by the way, these are all just questions. They're not.
Yeah,
I'm just asking
exactly.
questions.
Yeah, they're good questions. Good thought.
Um,
Things to think about.
yeah. Yeah. When artist was covering the point about El Shaddai, and El Shaddai just seems pure evil to me. Could it be that El Shaddai is the pure evil with no light in him and no dualistic in him, like Yahweh is? He's just totally evil.
You
Who's
know,
And
Shannon. Oh,
that
go
would
ahead.
make him that would make that would make him Satan, pure evil.
Shannon, can I have you read that one more time? Sorry.
Sure, let me see if I can find it. I don't have it.
Oh, just say. Oh, I was just gonna say, just say it how you said it. I just.
Could El Shaddai be pure evil and not dualistic?
Oh, yeah, I could see
The
that.
just and um, just pure evil, the devil. And could El Shaddai be because of the AI at the end?
Yeah, I
Is
hear
it
what you're
possible
saying.
that
Yeah.
is he the AI God in these AI days that wants to turn humans into um, AI
Yeah.
technology?
It's good to think
Um,
about for
and
sure. Like I said, good question.
and it does say Satan's in the airwaves, right?
That's right.
So,
Yep.
and if the theory is that Satan and Yahweh, like one is pure evil, one is dualistic, that would make some sense there, Shannon. Also, Isaiah 13:6, that artist brought up in the presentation earlier, saying the destruction of Shaddai. Um, it reminded me of when I was saying how that can be read as destruction from Shaddai, and the artist brought that up in her own presentation as well, saying destruction from Shaddai.
That's interesting
And
too.
if it's from destruction, Yahweh's name equals destruction.
Yep.
So Yahweh from God, or Yahweh from Shaddai. The most evil one, maybe, the dualistic from the pure evil. Who knows? But I just thought it was a good point, Shannon.
It is.
Um, and you cover another one of my notes by bringing that up. So, man, I feel like we're playing bingo here.
Okay, that's all those questions. It's on to whatever you've got there now, Tim.
Okay. Now this one's not really fair because it's not. It's so small now. This one is. I gotta like kind of zoom in with it. So I'm learning as I go
Is
here.
this the ones that I took the photos of?
Yeah. I just need to be better at knowing how to. There it is. The zoom thing is right here. Because it's on my computer. On my phone, I can just zoom in with my fingers.
Right.
So
Oh, it is
okay,
small,
that's
yeah.
much better. Yeah. Okay. I'm learning things, y'all. So
Yeah.
so this is from, and this is on YouTube, right? This is the YouTube
This
question,
is the
basically.
last, yeah, the last live we had. These are the comments and questions from there.
Okay. So tree of eternal life. Dang, that's a long name. Arvor Day. She says, Yahuwah is not male. They change pronunciation to make Yahuwah be called Yahweh. Hebrew, which end is usually female. Jesus also told us not to call any man father, for we have just, I don't know if this is a typo, but she put KNE, just knee father who is in heaven. That had to be a typo. But men made HOF yo be them and called themselves father, hence making the father this bloodshedding I don't want to say that word on here, criminal. Grape, a grapeist, criminal. There we go.
One thing that popped up in as I was watching the video to that question, because I read these earlier, was something that artist said about how uh, there was a queen named Yah. Did you guys hear that?
There was a what?
That there was a queen named Yah. So a female, like there was a queen named Yah. So she's saying Yahuwah is not male. They changed the pronunciation to Yahuwah, be called Yahweh. Well, Yah, I mean it. You know how they do the Baphomet, the as above, so below, and they have um, they're they're kind of like both female and male. I'm just wondering because in her video that we just watched, she was talking about Yahweh, Yahuwah, and that there was a queen named Yah. She found that there was when in her study, she found that there was actually a queen named Yah. So
Hmm.
it could be, because think about it, they have male and female, so who knows?
I remember that, hearing that in
Yeah.
the video.
I was gonna say, what does she say about? And if she's listening, I hope she does listen in reply. I'm not trying to break down anyone's theory. I'm
No,
just
no.
asking follow up questions that it
Yeah,
would bring
sure.
up. What does she do with all the many times where it referred to him as he or his? The pronouns they give him.
Mhm.
You know, just that's just off the top of my head. So
Well,
hopefully
well,
she. Yeah.
Tim, if you want to go with that, so when we're not going to get fully into this, but just talking about the pronouns of how they're talking about Yahweh being a he, they also are talking about the spirit of truth being a he. Um, and you like to think that it's possible that it's a she. So there is something there. So they, who knows if they're switching things up, or I don't believe that the spirit of truth is separate, but in the theology of that it being separate, and that it's being female, they do call it male in the scriptures. They don't say she.
Yeah, and I agree. That's what made me turn my head at it.
Yeah.
And made me even start looking at the translation of it, and
Mhm.
that's when I found that it showed feminine. You know what I'm saying? So, which made me raise some questions, and that's the only reason why I'm questioning it.
Mhm.
But uh, she also said, in Exodus 20, we're given commandments, but right after they decided to worship, oh, you got a test. I hear it.
Yeah, I'm in a test. Got it. I thought they would do that earlier. That's not so bad. We're good. Good to go.
But in Exodus 20, we are given commandments, but right after they decided to worship Baal Marduk, which is I don't know if I can say that on here, but male worship, male genitalia worship,
Mhm.
which is dragging on still today. Search history; those fallen ones made women worship men's genitalia. Yeah, I do see all that today too, and I do think the spirits they have there's male and female deities. Not that I think it's just there. We see it here and there
Yeah.
all throughout the scriptures and
Ish.
in real life, and yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, something could be going wrong, and maybe Yahweh again. The Satan's kingdom is divided, and Yahweh's a narcissist. Maybe he broke up with his girlfriend or whatever.
Who knows?
That's why he's trying to marry the church, probably. Who knows? I don't know.
Mm.
But anybody got any more comments for her before we move on to Warren?
Not me. Nope.
All right. Warren says, question about Jesus saying, many will come in my name, saying, I, the Christ, and lead many astray. He does say this, but in Matthew, he asked Peter, who do you say I am? In Matthew, Jesus says, because flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father in heaven. Well, Peter says he is the Christ in Luke. In Mark, he doesn't affirm and actually rebukes them, but in Matthew, he gives an affirmation for identifying him as the Christ. What do you say about this in regard to your doctrine? Love to hear thoughts. And my first thought, for one, because we answered this a couple of times already,
Mhm.
but just my thought as reading it right now, I'm thinking, is Matthew the only gospel that has the account of Peter asking him that early in the story? Like that was around the time where when he was gathering them up, and they asked where did he live, and he was like, "Come with me," and all that stuff, right?
Mhm.
So I think that gospel is the only account that has that. Am I right? I think
I'm just
only in Matthew
I'm
does
trying to
Peter
think
ask.
because I just went through John, um, and I I thought I read it in there too in the beginning, but maybe not. I can't remember. And I'm just going through
We
the
talk
stuff,
about
so
them,
it's pretty bad, eh? Bad memory.
but we talk about them adding sentences or words, but maybe they added whole chapters, like a whole paragraph, a whole. You know what I'm saying?
There are some that are like definitely a few sentences, together. Or actually, I have seen a couple where it is two good verses, one after the other, that are of JC. So could definitely be. Who knows? Um, but we've already cleared up the fact that he's not the Christ through the videos about the negating particles, and that they took it out where he said, "I am not." So
Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe just only in Matthew they added that whole beginning part before the rest of the gospel was being told in Matthew,
mhm.
just to give more credence to Yahweh and Christ and all that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to having that book come soon with all the gospels side by side, because it'll be interesting to see, because your question would be easier to answer tonight. if we had it.
Yeah, I do need to get a copy of that myself, and I forgot which one that was.
Well, there's the one, like I said, that's the Gospel Parables, and it's like only a $20 book or something like that. But they leave out John. They don't put John in. And the other one is written by the same man, actually. I didn't realize that, but it's written by the same man. It's just a much bigger, more in-depth book, and it's much more expensive. But it is arriving soon, so I'm looking forward to seeing that one. And it's not the name's not too far off that one either. So, but I can once I get it, I can send you a picture if you want.
Yes, please.
Okay.
So Warren also said, what do you think about the cuneiform tablets, the Anunnaki, the Sumerian gods, the Tree of Life, pine cone fruit, Tree of Life, etc.? I find it most interesting that if you take one of those cone fruits and make it 3D, then it's sorry, hold on, it's a little small right here. Then its form is based on Fibonacci sequence, and if you unwrap it, it becomes a strand of DNA. I saw this one Israel Anderson channel, or on Israel Anderson channel. Sorry. I find much of his doctrine about Enki being Jesus too far out to digest, but I must say, if we look at the seven seals in Psalm 82, divine counsel, it seems that there is a contract of ownership of humanity that Jesus fulfilled, paid the ransom. It by living under the law without sin, thus transferring ownership back to himself. And then he says, awesome, in parentheses. It makes so much sense to me that the idea we are given immortality in a body, not as a spirit, a glorified body where our tumors regrow and we stay young. Jesus was able to eat meat after his ascension, but it seemed he could also teleporting from one place to another. We are promised the same if we repent of our sinful nature and follow him. My sheep hear my voice. Love to hear your opinions about all these issues. We're all seeking truth, and I think you're on to something with the two Jesuses. Definitely Yahweh is the evil one. Love to all. First, I can hear myself in your background, I think, Alone. I wonder. Anyway.
Hmm.
Uh so first off, the Christ one that supposedly lived sinless and won us over that way. I don't think that's the real. We don't think that's the real one, and I think you know that already. But I'm just kind of reading the comments, and it kind of seemed like, you know, because you said awesome afterwards and everything. But I don't know if you're referring to Barabbas or Christ. I guess in that instance.
Yeah.
Um,
His statement was mixing the two quite a bit, because he was referring to Psalms, and Psalms is all Yahweh, so he was kind of going back and forth.
I even think the Anunnaki and Sumerian gods, and that's all or it's all Yahweh. So
I think the Anunnaki are the Nephilim, in my opinion.
yeah.
Hmm.
and then he brought the part about. I guess he's speaking of him making fish at the end when he said that Jesus was able to eat meat after, implying that he wasn't able to do it before. Maybe
I don't think
I
he
don't know.
ate at all. I don't think
That was
Jesus
the
Barabbas
Christ.
ate at all here. That was the Christ.
Yeah, agreed. Um, I don't even think that he would distribute the fish, but
No, I think that was JC.
yeah. Well, in fact, I did some research on that, and when you read that part, it never says he distributed fish.
I know it wasn't. I
It
heard
says he
that
broke
too.
the loaves and
Yeah.
he distributed the loaves, and I think that the fish, and a lot of scholars think the fish part was added in since because of that reason. Because when you go down, he only mentions the loaves,
Yeah, I can't
never the
remember, but
fish.
I heard something else. Um, that it was something else that was also with the bread, but it wasn't fish. From what I heard back I can't remember what it was, but it was pretty interesting. Um, it wasn't meat. It wasn't. It was. I almost want to say it was fruit. I almost want to say fruit, but I don't know for sure. I can't remember. It's been a long time.
Yeah, there's accounts that say that too.
There was
Well,
definitely
they say
something
fruit and
else
bread.
besides the fish, but I've seen both now. I've seen both ways. So, but But I do think that
Now I'm
it's
starting to think
JC
maybe there
that's,
wasn't even fruit, only because if there was, I was hoping that they would mention it. I think that's a strong point.
well,
The
wouldn't,
mentioning it
you know,
later.
if they were taking the Bible away from Italy, which is full of fruit, full of all those sorts of things, and taking it over to a country, that they're trying to give a narrative to, with the Middle East, they'd have to back it up with whatever's over in the Middle East, right? Um, so I don't know. I just think that they kind of switched it up so that it goes with the
I
narrative
think
of
they
the
both.
area.
I think they both show some symbolism towards Baraba, whether it's fruit or bread, because he called himself the bread of life. And then he calls himself the fruit of like he's the fruit of the vine or something like that, right? Maybe I'm getting that one mixed up with something else.
No, he said, "I am the vine, and the Father is the husbandman," or something like that. But I don't know. I was really going over that one because that's in John, and I was going over that yesterday, and I'm not sure about it right now.
But that was a good one, Warren. Thank you for your comment there.
Hmm.
He has another one. Okay, hold on. By the way, he says, Yahushua, according to Strong's, is eternal, self-existent one that saves. From that we get Iesus, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
Jesus with an I. But the I becomes a J and Jesus. Some call a connection to Zeus, but that is not in the derivation.
Yeah.
So, I think anybody can, I don't know. Remember when artists said that the Hebrew names, like not just names, but language in general,
Hmm.
something good could be something bad at the same, like the same word can be something evil and good at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a dualistic language.
Maybe
But
maybe in the Hebrew language, and she also doesn't trust Strong's as much as she trusts um, Meyer, whatever it is there, the Myers Briggs one, whatever it is. She trusts that more than she trusts the Strong's. But even if they were to check
Tom
that out,
Driver Briggs.
right? But if they were to check that out in not the Hebrew language and check it out in the Greek language and see what it says, it probably isn't going to say the same thing. But Yahweh loves to go back to the Hebrew. I do think that Hebrew's a corrupted, witchcraft language.
For sure. I agree
Definitely.
with her that it's Satan's language. She mentioned that in the video. I agree with that.
Mm, yeah.
so Warren has another comment here. I'm sorry, Warren, for thinking you were
Oh,
done.
that's
Yeah.
there's two the same. I think if you read my comment earlier, I somehow put it in twice, but there's on
Oh yeah, I
another
caught that.
page. Okay, there's 3 pages though.
Yeah, I
So
moved on. Yep.
okay,
This is the one where it starts with double-minded, right? He says
right.
double-minded. Um, Jesus is referencing the duplicitous nature of man. I've never seen that word before, y'all, so forgive me.
Yeah.
But anyway, it is a twin system. We literally are good and evil yoked inside one host body. This is, in essence, the core of our problem. The solution is to have the demonic half turn back to, it says UP or up.
Up. Yeah.
That
In
sounds
parentheses,
like Jonathan Clark again.
huh?
That's what he teaches.
Literally, and he says literally the word is Anna in Greek, and Keta is down. So our spiritual energy is down and up, and that sounds like there's a triangle. There's the Jew star.
Mhm.
Uh, the two triangles, one up, one down. Put them together, it makes a six-pointed star.
Yeah.
One can sell out to the God of this world and double down, or in the case of Jesus, we are redoubled. There is symbolism to support this claim. Twin Towers, Twin Peaks. Uh, this is Jacqueline and Boaz, light and dark, male, female. It is architecture, media, movies, celebrity names. Tom Cruise equals twin cross or double cross. I think it's important to identify that we are I guess he meant to say two distinct beings. Uh, or no, two distinct beings, flesh versus spirit within the host body system. If we translate many things, we find that Satan owns the flesh, canopy covering. Father is spirit, and we are divine sparks of light demanding from him. Some of us, it appears choose to get a body, but at what cost? We're told in the New Testament that Father has enmity with the flesh. So clearly, having a body is not a positive thing. Okay.
Well, it might. It's. I don't think the body is like. I mean, look at how everybody has what they have to deal with right from the time you're born, right? Like trouble with all kinds of things, illnesses. The body fails right from the time you start growing. It starts to fail. Um, it's not like it definitely isn't something that I want to spend eternity and put it that way. Not this body. So I think it's definitely of Yahweh, and but I don't see it as what did he say the very last thing? Not a positive thing. Well, definitely not a positive thing, but um, I don't want to well, I don't know. I lost my thought. I don't want to live in this body forever because I do think it's the soul or the spirit is of the Father, and the body is of Yahweh, and we're trapped here in it. So I just can't wait to be. I know we've been released because he saved us, but we still have to play it out until he either comes back or we die and are reunited with the Father. So, and
I agree.
I probably went on a tangent there, guys. Sorry, my brain does that
Oh, you're
sometimes.
good. You're good.
I think Yahweh told us in Genesis 2 that He made with His hands. So His creation is imperfect. His creation rots. And
Mhm.
Jesus said, "Why store up treasures here, where moth and rust corrupts and destroys our things?
Yeah.
While in heaven, nothing gets old and rots." So it shows that Father's creation is perfect, is always going to live,
Mhm.
and Yahweh's creation is eventually going to die.
Yep.
All his stuff
That's why
gets
he's
worn down.
panicked. That's why he's panicked, and he's trying to do these transhumanists. Like turning you into, metal, so that you'll be able to. In his mind, he'll be able to keep everybody, if you know what I mean. That's why he wants all your memories, and that's why he wants all your thoughts, and so he can trap them inside these AI, you know, um, cyborgs or whatever you want to call them that he's making. Try to trap us here.
Yeah.
Hopefully not again. I don't want to be
Exactly.
here again. I want to go home.
No, I want to go home.
Yeah.
We're going
Me
home.
too.
Mhm.
So we'll move on to Adrian Moore here. Jesus means Yahweh salvation. Yeshua just means salvation. So shouldn't we just call him by his original name, Yeshua?
No,
No. Not at all.
he's not
uh,
Hebrew. He was not born. He is not Hebrew. He does not have a Hebrew name.
yeah.
Speaking of Hebrew names, the artist brought up something about the Latin, you know,
Mhm.
in the video, and there's something else I wrote down. So it says, I asked, are the Latin slash Spanish people the real Hebrews? Just because they got the name Jesus in their culture, right? Also, I had an Uber driver today. His name was Jacob. He's a Spanish guy.
There's no
Uh,
race. There's no race. Like that would be of Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's what I mean.
yeah,
Yeah, like the Jews, like the
yeah,
actual, maybe,
yeah. Well, I
you
think they
know.
are. I think that's why the Pope is in Rome, right? That's why their
Hmm.
base is in Rome because I think they're kind of like cowards if you want to put it that's how I think of it anyways because they moved everything. The Pope stays there. They want to protect everything there. But they send everything else off over to another country so that it doesn't destroy what they have there and they're all protected, you know what I mean? Let's just send everybody else off. But I do think that that's the nationality of JC's, beginning and stuff like that. But like she said, the
Yeah.
the Romans and the Jews are the same, and they want to separate. People want to separate them, but they're the same.
What's interesting is Latin America, El Salvador is in Latin America, and it means the Savior.
Hmm. That's interesting too.
Also, in Spanish language, they have male and female, like the masculine and feminine words or nouns and stuff like that as well in
Right.
their language. And I'm not sure if it's like that in many other languages. I know there's got to be like that in some languages, but I don't think it's like that for all though. Like in America, we don't have that, or in
Yeah.
English.
And artist said that the Hebrew language has a lot of positives and negative words, and that in other languages they don't. You don't find that in the English language where you have positives and negatives. Um, did you guys hear her talk about that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's when she called it. She called Hebrew Satan's language, or
Mhm.
something to that effect.
Right.
Don't want
Anyway,
to put words in the mouth.
I guess we answered that girl's question right off the bat with Sally and I both saying no. And then we
yeah.
went. She's got.
Well, he's not of this world, Adrian. So it wouldn't make sense that he have a national name or a name with some kind of nationality behind it of this world.
Yeah.
But plus all the other problems with it, with you know, the old translations and all that stuff. But anyway, CM 303 says, "From my many years of Bible study, I found Yeshua is tied to Yahweh, which is the opposite of our Father in heaven. In fact, it seems as though his name has been messed with repeatedly. Not to mention, we don't change names just because we translate a book into another language. Even the devil retained his name. Also, Yahushua, H3091 is translated to Joshua, not Jesus. And it does not mean Jehovah is salvation. However, we do have the example of our Father in heaven calling him his son. And we have several other references to the Son of God. But caution, the Son of Man does not appear to have the same character. So, in the effort to not fall into the trap of making the false assumption and calling the wrong name, I've learned to default to what God our Father and other biblical references refer to him as his Son, and therefore, in the most true sense of what we are given, we can call him the Son of God, with the understanding that God is our Father in heaven, not Yahweh, the Lord of the Old Testament. For now, it is more important than his name is what we learn to discern his and his father's character from the evil deceivers. I want to just bring up a small little how they had to put with the understanding in parentheses that God is our Father in heaven,
Mhm.
not Yahweh, the Lord of the Old Testament. The reason why they have to do it is because that word God, too many people, too many entities are sharing this name. Evil ones are having it, okay?
Yep.
And then they're accrediting that to our Father in heaven, and it's causing too much problems,
That's why we don't
too
say
many
God.
problems.
We say our Father. We say Father. We don't even use the word God anymore. And sometimes I slip up because we're so used to it, but it always bothers me to even say it. So now that doesn't mean because Theos does mean a God. And Yahweh could have stolen that entire thing because, like Artis said, Satan and all his minions are not gods. They're fallen angels. They're not gods. So I think they've stolen what is right again, right, what is rightfully the Father's. But I think that the Father's going to understand us not wanting to mingle anything that Yahweh uses. Um, and I'm basically like going by what Jesus said because that's the safest thing that we can do. What did Jesus say? He said, "Call him Father." And he called him Father. So that's where I stand on that. But I don't like to use the word God either. So or Lord, Lord that I threw out a long time ago. It never sat right with me.
Yeah, it doesn't sit right with me either, because I just wouldn't share a title with evil people.
Hmm.
You know, it's just confusing. But so Chad David says, is ancient Hebrew the same as Hebrew? Also, ancient Greek, is that the same as Greek today? Now, off just off the top of my head, off of just default logic with all the time that passed, I think there's going to be some differences now
Hmm.
for sure.
I think they're broken
You
down.
know,
It's like you know how they say slang. So there's French, and then there's the slang French. So I think there's Hebrew, and then there's the slang Hebrew. And I'm using that word lightly because that's not what they call it. It's like the Koine Greek and the Greek, um, but I think it's similar. I think it's kind of like a broken down or whatever language from the original, if that makes sense. I'm thinking so. Anybody got anything to say about that? No?
sorry, I didn't hear actually the last sentence that you said just because I was typing to DB in
Oh,
the comments.
I'm just like saying that I think that like the Hebrew, the ancient Hebrew to the Hebrew and the ancient Greek to the Greek. I think it's just kind of like what we're dealing with, with the French. There's French from Paris, and then there's a broken French. So I'm just wondering if the ancient Greek is the original, sort of like, or sorry, yeah, ancient Greek or ancient Hebrew are sort of the original languages back then, but then they're broken down, and that's why you get this new Greek or new Hebrew or whatever. That's what my thinking is they're just broken down languages from the original.
Yeah. So basically, basically you're saying over time as well is going to be different, which is why it's broken down basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Vince says most languages are recent creations. We're done with all the questions, by the way.
Okay, that's
Just
good.
X out of that. Yeah.
Oh, you have was there not something on the third page too?
What? Oh,
There's
third,
I
number
thought that
three.
yeah, there was a third page, I thought.
Oh gosh, I feel like a kid in class that turned his paper in and didn't realize there was a back to it.
Well, I don't know if they're questions or just comments, so it might
Oh well, I think the rest was just comments. I
okay.
only screenshotted the ones that were questions.
Oh, okay.
If that's
That's
what.
fine. That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah. I think
The
that
rest were like, thank you guys,
yeah.
and thank you guys for all said for all the ones that said thank you.
And thank you for all
You're
the ones
welcome.
that
We love you.
are sending um, prayers and stuff to artist, um, and asking if there's anything that you can do. Pray. That's all you can do. Pray for comfort. Pray for um, you know peace here because she's suffering, guys, and she needs that. So, and there's not really much else we can do.
And
So,
she'd be here if she could, if she felt she had
yeah.
an ounce of strength, she would have been here.
Well, she
That's
doesn't
just,
she doesn't like to
that's
miss
just,
it. She loves it.
um, I
But
mean,
she
yeah, she told me when I went to visit with her last weekend that, she was like sad that she can't stay focused to study, and she wants to continue. She wants to be here. She wants to study. She wants to be with us, and it frustrates her that she's not able to. So I'm only saying that because if she's not here, she's not doing well, and she does need our prayers.
That's right. Yeah. She definitely gets mine, and I know she gets everybody in Discord. So
For sure.
you know,
Sure.
yeah, yeah. So if everybody has it, or anybody has anything else to add, I noticed that our numbers weren't that great tonight, but of course it's we're watching a video, and people's attention spans are a lot less with a video, but I think it's important to
And
go
it's a
through it.
Friday.
And it's a Friday, so maybe Tuesdays
So
are
it is a
better, eh?
Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, they go. I can't remember exactly, but I think the video did pretty good with people viewing it though online. So you know, that's all we can do. Keep posting, keep sharing, keep coming on, and hopefully people see it. So
Right. We got 1 hour left on this video, and then we'll
that's right.
we'll move on to something new after that.
Yep, yep. Um, maybe because Tim and Shannon wanted to do Yahweh is dualistic. So maybe you guys can be chit chatting together, you know.
Yeah, I do have notes
You
on that
know,
already. Yeah, so I can share them.
the two of yous chit chat, get some stuff, thoughts and stuff going, and that could be your heading. Yahweh is dualistic, and see what we can come up with. We'll go from there. But yeah, I think that's it. I think that's going to be it tonight, guys. It's unless anybody has anything else to say or add or
Thank you, Natalie, for the prayers.
Yeah, thank you,
yes,
Natalie.
Natalie.
Yeah. And if I know Galana will probably listen to this. If she's not listening now,
Yeah.
we love you.
Yes,
We're
we love
praying
you,
for you.
artist.
Yeah.
Yep, we'll leave it at that. We love her,
Yeah, praying for you, artists.
and
Love
Yes,
you,
we
we are.
sister.
and we pray for peace and comfort. Okay, so I'm just going to say goodbye. I'm going to hang on a little longer than you guys just because I want to add at the very end of every video from now on, I want to add our contact information. I forgot to do it the last time. So, you guys can. The only reason why I say that is because I want not to miss the comment section. So, as soon as you guys are done talking and have left, I will carry on and put up the pictures so that it's on every live.
Hey, Dabibi, if you want to find us on Discord, reach out to me or, I mean, any of us, me or Lynn, Shannon or Tim, message one of us, and if you want to join, we can send you the link.
Yeah, you can have look at the end of this video, and you will see how to get our email addresses, okay? And then you can go from there. So, okay, good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Love
Yeah,
y'all.
love you too.
Everybody in the chat.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Love you
everyone.
Let
guys. Love
everybody
everyone.
Night.
know.
You guys take care.